much like people look down on the fact that you're so young.
They do. Yeah. What's one word to describe what photography means to you? That's ridiculous.
That
Yeah,
just a call to action.
That's it, yeah. So how did you learn to value your work?
Yeah, like that. You just need to believe in yourself.
I don't think there's one path that works for business. I dropped out of high school. Welcome back to the Start, Build and Grow podcast, where we talk with real business owners here in the north of Scotland and take a look at the lessons they've learned from years of doing the work. Today, I'm joined by Morag from Ceamara Photography, an award-winning local photographer who's been behind the camera for everything from weddings and families to commercial shoots. What's interesting about this conversation is we come from totally different backgrounds. Whilst Morag went down the traditional route studying photography at college, I never even made it to high school. Yet here we both are, running our own businesses. So let's get into how she built her reputation, what she's learned running a creative business, and what it actually takes to turn passion into profit. Morag, it's great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. So you've been doing this for around about 13 years. What was it that got you into photography in the first place?
I got into photography in high school, actually. I was the school photographer and I just found a love for it. But even if you look back at my family photos throughout the years, it's always kind of been me not in the photos because me taking the photos.
Yeah, so you prefer to be behind the lens.
Yeah, absolutely. Much prefer to be behind the lens. But yeah, I kind of then got into doing, like I said, the school photography and then went into doing HND in college.
Cool. How long was it you were at college for?
2 years.
2 years.
So I did HNC then HND.
Was that
photography.
Aberdeen?
Yes.
Aberdeen.
Yeah.
Cool. So with photography, I'm assuming you started it as something you loved doing. You didn't always see it like as a business.
No, it was a passion. I just love capturing happiness and I like capturing moments. And I think, honestly, it's like the pause button of life. You can just, stop time. And I think that's a great thing to capture because you have memories for years to come.
Absolutely. So going back to you obviously studied photography in college. Are there any parts of that which you can say still help you to this day?
I think it gave me a base for like a base knowledge of photography and had amazing lecturers in college, to be fair. Some of them had worked in lots of different industries, so they give you lots of tips. But I think real life working is a massive part of photography and learning all the time. Every day's a school day. You literally learn everything on the job, on the day. And yeah, that's the beauty of photography. It changes over time.
Yeah, completely agree. It's funny because you went to college to learn it whilst I dropped out of high school and we've both ended up running businesses. I think that proves I don't think there's one path that works for business.
Yeah, no, there's definitely no wrong path, as to say. I didn't have to go to college to do what I do. That wasn't a stipulation in any way. I just did it because that was the path that you kind of took in school. You went to high school, you went to university, you went to college, whatever you wanted to do. I had the option of doing a university course. I chose not to do it because I chose to go into the real life job, which I think benefited me more, if 100%, I'm honest.
Yeah, I think we all learn better on the job. Certainly from my experience, because obviously I haven't studied anything. I think learning on the job and just doing it is what gives you the experience.
Yeah, definitely.
So a lot of people in the creative industry, videographers, photographers, I even know myself from running the Cinema List, struggle to charge what they're worth. So how did you learn to value your work?
It's been a long process and a lot of learning, if I'm honest. Even now, I've been told lately that I can be the cheapest in the area, but I love what I do. I value what I do, and I think valuing yourself really kind of is the big concept on that one.
Yeah, I think especially if you're doing it on your own, you're not running like a business with multiple people. You definitely need to have value in yourself and trust in your own ability to fulfill that.
Yeah. I mean, it is you doubt yourself a lot in business. Being a sole trader, being on your own, it's scary at times, and it does genuinely feel like, oh, maybe I shouldn't charge this much, maybe I shouldn't do this. Yeah. But you just need to believe in yourself, and that's something that I've learned through different networking, through speaking to people, through speaking to financial advisors as well. You need to just believe in yourself, and your quality is there, then people are willing to pay it.
Definitely. Completely agree. So when did you first start seeing your art of photography as a business instead of just passion?
You kind of started talking about it in college. They made you do business plans,
Right.
and that kind of set you up for different scenarios. So it depended on what kind of photography you wanted to go into, because there's lots of different areas in photography. I jumped into weddings and families because that's what I like to capture. As I said, capturing happiness, that was what photography was all about for me. But some people went into things like forensic photography. They would set up a business plan how you would get into that. And it was it made you think, what did you actually want to do with this? And I just kind of jumped into a business. I came out of college and literally went diving into a business and started doing weddings and families, and I've never really looked back.
Never looked back. And that's what, almost 13 years?
13 years ago, and we've came a long way in the last few years. I've kind of was doing it as more like a second job for a long time. Now I'm focusing on it as my main job. I've always had a part-time job to go along with it. Again, that's just the scariness of being self-employed.
Yeah.
But I've kind of, in the last few years, really focused everything into it. And that's when I've opened my own studio and, really pushing it as a business. It's good.
Awesome. So when you look for clients, what's been your best move for acquiring clients, finding clients?
It's sussing out who your ideal client is.
Okay.
That has been massive. A couple of years ago, I did a course, a business course, where it was all about who is your ideal client. And that really, it almost made me think, I've never really specified who my client was. But my client is just somebody who wants to capture natural moments. It wants to capture the day as it is. I'm not by any means a fine art photographer, although I could do that style. I don't want to. That's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to capture memories for people.
So you're more about capturing the real stuff that's happening, rather than over editing and making stuff just more complicated than it needs to be.
Yeah. Absolutely. I find the more natural documentary style is just the way that I love doing photography, and it captures moments. And I've had people come back to me years later and say, oh my God, I'm so glad you got that photo because, that person's no longer here, or things like that. Which has just been it's memories that you can't replace.
Yeah, definitely. I think what you do as well, having a creative business, there's so much more to it than just the business, in terms of making money. As you say, you've got people coming to you. It's a very emotionally driven business that you do.
Yeah.
And it's very important to, capture those moments, like you're saying, in terms of weddings and whatnot.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think being in a smaller area like we are here in Murray, do you think that makes business easier or harder for you?
I don't think it necessarily makes it either. It's not easier, it's not harder. It's just a very different market. We are in a small area, but we're in such a beautiful area. So for my business, obviously people flock here from all over the world to come and get married here. And people loved getting their photos here when they're on holiday or things like that. So I don't think it hinders being in a small area. I don't think it particularly would help either. It's just one of these things. We are in a beautiful area of Scotland, and I think that is beneficial to us anyway. I don't think people appreciate it when they're local here as much as maybe should. But we are in an absolutely stunning area, and that itself helps with my kind of business anyway.
Of course, yeah. There's this myth, I know we sort of touched on this a minute ago, but they say that if you're good at what you do, business will just come. Has that been true for you?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a great marketer. I have not been great at social media. I'm not great at putting myself out there, to be honest. And that's just probably a personal failing over anything.
Okay.
But I think, I've had a successful business over the years, and it is because of people getting to know you and people recommending you, things like that. So yes, if you're good at your job, people will come and they will want what you do, which is great.
Definitely. Most people think that they're building a business, but really they're building a hobby that sometimes gets paid. What do you think of that?
Yes, I think quite often people will look at, especially my kind of industry, and go, oh well, I've got a camera, I could take that. or I've got a phone, I could do that, or I could take that on a phone.
Yeah.
It's been a massive part, especially with the digital age coming in, that people, oh, you've got a camera, you can point it at it, but it's a lot more. Photography's got so much more to do than just that. Capturing it, yeah, that is great, but what people don't see is the editing time. It's the taking out the tiny wee things like the fire exit signs and,
Yeah.
you know, things like that people don't see, and it's behind the scenes. Also, yeah, you can take a good photo, but maybe you could have done it this way or you could have done it that way. Everyone's got their own style, but it can be really hard to push through a creative market because of that, because people see it as, oh, well, I'm good at taking photos. I do it as a hobby. And it does become a job for some people. But it is a lot of hard work to be in a business doing what you love.
Yeah.
But if you are in a business doing what you love, then no day's a work day. It's just kind of, you're doing what you love.
Pretty much, yeah. And I think that's why a lot of people get into, especially the creative industry, you know, like the videography, photography. Even what I do is creative to a degree. And yeah, certainly love doing what I do.
Yeah.
I've also said before that people will believe literally anyone other than you about whether your product's good or not. So that's why referrals and reviews are gold. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, word of mouth, like I said, has been absolutely massive for me. That is where most of my business comes from. It's people that come back, or, I mean, I've had people that have got engaged with me and then got married and then had kids, and they've came back time and time again, and then they've recommended them to their friends and things like that. So yeah, word of mouth is massive in the area.
Definitely.
I think networking's massive as well, because that's how people get to know you as well, getting your name out there.
I think as well, with Murray being a smaller area, word of mouth is very important because it's kind of everyone knows everyone.
Yeah.
Or you'll know someone that knows them, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Touching back on the topic of, you know, you were saying in college, you kind of then just took the leap to start the business, and you feel like that's why you didn't go to university, so you could learn on the job, kind of thing. And I believe from my own experience that we learn from our own mistakes in business. We learn from just doing, whether or not we feel up to doing. So what's one mistake that's taught you more than any college course or mentor ever could?
Actually, one of the biggest mistakes I ever made in business was when I first started, thankfully. But I didn't back up my photos correctly. And one of the biggest things that I ever did, I lost all my college work on one hard drive. So yeah,
Wow.
that was slightly terrifying. So I basically started a business with no portfolio because I had lost everything that I had done in college off a hard drive. So that taught me a very valuable lesson of backing up.
Well, at least you learned that earlier and not like after someone's wedding, losing all their photos.
Exactly. I mean, weddings have always been very, very particular about how I store the photos. Every wedding has 2 hard drives, now especially 2 hard drives on the cloud, and it's got its own memory cards.
Got you.
Because yeah, that is not something you lose.
No, definitely not.
Although you can't always guarantee technology. I even when I'm shooting, I dual shoot onto 2 different cards to make sure that it's all backed up. But that is coming from that mistake.
Yeah.
Because I lost literally everything. Which was, yeah, not fun.
Yeah. So it's true what they say. We do certainly learn from our mistakes.
Yeah. Definitely.
How do you deal with creative burnout or pressure to always sort of improve and be better with your work?
I think you can always learn. I do think it's something that you should do. You should do courses. You can always learn something new from other people. And I think this is, again, a great thing about our area is people are willing to go out and do different things with you, which I think is great. But it is just about making yourself better. There's no, if you stop learning, you're going to become stale and you're just going to sit in the same place and do the same thing. And especially for my industry, if I do one wedding, it's going to look the same as the next wedding and the next wedding, because you're going to be doing the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas you can learn from other photographers, you can learn from just doing different things. This is why I don't stick to one part of business. I don't just photograph weddings. I do weddings and families and branding and events, because it keeps you fresh, it keeps your mind moving.
Yeah.
And that is invaluable. Really.
Yeah, 100%. What's been the hardest part about running a business up here in the north of Scotland?
putting myself out there has probably been my hardest part. I, for the first probably 10 years of my business, was a relative hermit.
Right.
I wouldn't speak to people because I wasn't confident enough to do it. I wouldn't go out there, and it wasn't until actually it was Rona from Lifestyle Magazine that pushed me out there and got me into networking, got me into doing different things, and my business has came on so much in the last few years because of that. I've joined 3 different networking groups, and yeah, they've all been brilliant for me in different ways. But it has really pushed me to be more outgoing and network and get my business out there.
Do you think success in a smaller area like Moray is different, or looks different rather, than it would in a bigger city like of Inverness or Edinburgh, Aberdeen?
Yeah, you see a difference in mentality. I find that people in business in cities tend to do it for the job.
Okay.
They don't do it because it's a passion, and I found that to be quite interesting. They're pushing themselves and they're charging far more than what I would, to be fair, in a city. But I want to be kind of more, I don't know how to phrase it, but I want to be more valuable for the client. I want to be more value for money. But I want photography to be accessible for everyone. I look at some city prices and I go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes, like I said, it's I want it to be available for everyone. I don't want it to be like one class of people can actually buy this.
Yeah.
I want it to be available.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah.
I've said before that no one under 30 should care about work-life balance. I think it's about building volume early, so failure is basically impossible. What's your opinion on that? Not having work-life balance under 30.
I think you have to have a work-life balance, regardless. I understand that concept because when I have had no work-life balance for the last 13 years, but I think taking a step back and looking at it, there's so much more you could have done, and there's so much more that you need to enjoy life, not just build a business.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes you just need hindsight to look at that. But on saying that, if you don't put the work in, you're not going to get a successful business. You've just got to try and find your balance. And I think that's the big thing. It's your balance. It's not going by anyone else's standards.
Yeah. Everyone's completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's zoom out. If someone listening to this podcast right now was just starting out with their camera today, what would you tell them to focus on first? That's a good word, isn't it?
Yeah. I would tell them to go out and learn as much as you can. Go out and second shoot with other people. Go and ask for work experience because that is invaluable. What you can learn off other people is absolutely mental. I mean, every photographer is different and everyone works in a different way and everyone does things differently. And I think that's fascinating. And I think that that's probably been my biggest learning curve is by just, learning off other people, learning what other people do, learning how to do things. Also, a lot of training. Training's a great thing. Go and learn different styles, go and learn different ways of doing things, or even push your boundaries and go and do something random like wildlife photography, because that'll give you a different aspect on how you do things as well.
Completely different perspective, yeah. Cool. What we're going to do now, Morag, is go on to the quick fire round, as I call it. So I'm just going to ask you probably about 5 or 6 questions, more personal, less business related, I think, and we will go from there. So the first one is, what is your favourite spot in Moray to shoot?
Tamdhu Station.
Tamdhu Station.
It's very, very out the way. It's on the Speyside Way, but it's an old train station, so it's where they've ripped the train line out.
Okay.
And it's very understated, but I think it's such a beautiful little spot. There or Rose Isle Beach. Love both of them.
Rose Isle Beach, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I've never been to Tamdhu Station, I don't think, though.
No, I was actually looking at a photo shoot last night that I did there. And just, it's such a lovely little spot.
Cool. You need to show me at some point.
Yeah.
What's one small business in the area you think deserves more attention?
Night and Web. We'll go with that.
Night and Web.
Yeah, I mean...
I didn't pay you to say this.
No, you did not.
No.
No, there's... a lot of small businesses that are coming up in the area, and I think, there's a lot of them that deserve a lot of attention. I think younger people in business, I was, like I said, I was seen as a relatively young person when I started 13 years ago.
How old would you have been then?
Yeah, I would have been 21 when I started the business.
Yeah, it's fairly young,
and I was, it was very much like people look down on the fact that you're so young.
They do.
And I don't like that. I was, like I said, I've been in business 13 years now, and still people turn up to photos and they're like, oh, I expected you to be older. I think my name's got something to do with that as well. Like,
yeah, possibly.
But it is very much young people in business needs to push the boundaries. It's great. It's great to have young people coming through.
Definitely. Apart from your camera and obviously like lenses and stuff, what's one piece of equipment you couldn't live without in your business?
In my business?
In your business.
Oh, my laptop.
Your laptop.
Yeah. My laptop is probably the one piece that I couldn't live without. Other than that, yeah, most of it's equipment. Obviously, my camera, lenses, you can't do your job without that.
Yeah.
So that makes it quite easy. But my laptop comes everywhere with me. I don't really know. That's quite a hard one.
Yeah, laptop.
I feel like I should have something obscure to tell you there. But
yeah, I know. I was expecting something, but no, maybe not. What's one word to describe what photography means to you?
Oh, one word. That's really hard. Passion.
Passion.
I like that. Passion.
What's one thing most people misunderstand about photographers?
I think a lot of people think that it's just click a button and that's what you do. The amount of comments I've had like that is actually quite amazing. But you just click a button. No, there's a lot more to photography than that. And I think that is one big misconception, that especially for events and things like that, it's like I will get home and have about 10 messages being like, oh, how are the photos for today? And I'm like, I've got home. You got home a while ago.
Yeah.
But I've just got home, and there's hours of editing to do. And I think that is one big common misconception about them.
This isn't going in the podcast now, I'm just speaking to you. That's all the questions done. How long has it been, Ryan? 25 minutes. That's ridiculous. How have you done it so fast? Yeah, you don't talk nonsense. I like it. It keeps it interesting for the audience. Should have wrote more questions. I thought this was going to take like way longer. Yeah.
I apologise.
Don't apologise. It's good because now people are actually going to listen to it because it's not like long and boring. It's just short and sweet. Morag, it's been great to have you on the podcast. I think people are going to take a lot from how you've balanced creativity with actual business discipline. It's something that I couldn't figure out when I ran my own video business, so fair play to you. If you're listening to this and you run a business in Moray or the north of Scotland, this is exactly the type of chat that we're going to keep bringing. Real people, real lessons, no nonsense. If you'd like to be the next guest on the show, then head over to nightingweb.com/podcast to apply. The link will be in the description. You can also check out Morag's work, which I've linked in the description as well, and make sure to follow the Start, Build and Grow podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. We'll be back very soon with another local business owner sharing what they've learned and how you can use it to build something that lasts. Job done.
Yeah.
Finito.
Tell you one of the questions you should have asked me is where my business name came from. Or how you say it.
Yeah, how do you say it? Ceamara Photography.
Yeah, like that.